Okay, welcome back everybody to part 17 of the Dora. It's kind of hard filming this first little section here because actually this is part 17 and I'm starting on part 19 when I get done with this here. So I have, like I said, I have to go back and watch the video and see what it was about so I know what I'm talking about. And this actual part got finished about a week and a half ago. So we're moving right along. In this particular video I go out to the garage finally. I finally get out to the garage and get them larger bridges painted. And I also took the time, I'll probably tell you in the video I'm going to paint the other parts downstairs, but I went ahead since I was out there and everything, and I got the gun carriers out there painted too. So pretty much that's where I'm at. That's what this video is all about, is getting, that was my main part, the main thing, to get that done. So you'll see in the video, I move out the garage. Now I really don't show you painting it or primering it, because I'll tell you what, it was 84 might not seem hot, but the humidity is so high that, man, I just, you know, I have to be careful because I sweat bad when it gets like that. And I have to be careful I'm not dripping sweat on the model as I'm doing it and things. So it was pretty tough doing that out there in the garage, man. It was miserable. But, you know, and so I don't really take the time because it was so time consuming trying to paint them bridges, trying to hold them, twist it, turn it up, you know, and so, you know, and you've seen me paint other parts before. It's the same old thing. So, because I've gotten a couple comments, guys wanting to, you know, see me paint stuff. Well, there's so many guys on YouTube painting things that I've got nothing to show you. All right, so we're going to go ahead, and I lost a clip of this video. I don't know what happened. I was sitting here watching it, and a whole section of it just wouldn't come up. It's been there for a week and a half, and then all of a sudden today, it's gone. So, now I don't think it was anything important, so I ain't worried about it, so I had to cut that out. So that's why we're getting a short video today. Yay! Alright, so let's get going here. Let's quit talking and get into what I got done. Okay, so here we are. Start of another week. Got this all done, pretty much. I think that's really about it. I got it all glued together. Got to do some touch up right there. You can see down in there. And these things here, they only go in so far. So I actually got about another 1/4 of an inch inside here to paint. Let me show you what I'm talking about. If I can do this. Okay, it's on there. As you can see, I got about 1/4 of an inch right there. I got to paint on these things here. All right, turning my lens around. And so I'm letting this set up. This is drying, but she's all together except for the breech. I haven't put the breech on yet because I got to touch it up where I had that little run. But I got about as much as I can do on this. I went ahead and got the top rail on both of them, this rail up here, and then I put this little cap on here, right there, on both of them. And like I just showed you, you know, right in there, it fits. You know, I didn't have to do no trimming or nothing. Right there it goes. So it fits right on there. Alright, so next step is I'm moving out to the garage. I already got the 2 bridges upstairs. Got to get these out there and take along everything I can think of to take. Got to get my air compressor up there and my fan. And I'll be painting this and the 2 bridges outside. So that's my next step. That's what I'm in the process of doing right now. Getting this all moved out. I'm going to hold off on these two little things here. I know I could probably put them in there. As long as I got them level, they'll be all right. I might go ahead and do that before I go upstairs. Get these two little pieces on there. Alright, well, we'll see what I'm doing here. But I'll meet you out in the garage. Alright, here we are, out in the garage. Got a garbage can set up there with a piece of wood on it and then a piece of cardboard. And we're painting over this in case I drop something. It don't have far to go and it should land on that soft cardboard. Yeah. Alright, and then over here on my workbench I got the fan running. It's blowing on that little air compressor there because it's hot out here. I think it's 84 out right now. Brought up just about everything I could think to bring up. Where's them other pieces? Right there they are. And I got the two gun carriages right there. I'm going to be doing them too. So, alright, let me get some paint mixed up and we'll get started on these bridges. Alright, so let me back out a little bit here. I can't turn this camera that way because that's the open garage door and that sun would just blow everything out. So let me get some paint mixed up and we'll get started. Alright, I got the two bridges primered. Man, it's like 82 or 84 out here. I'm sweating my butt off. Went through about 4.5 cups of paint, and I was mixing them about 3/4 of a cup full. I went through about 4.5, and I primer it and go out in the sun, look, and then I find a spot I got to get, come back in. I must have done that a dozen times. Alright, so now I'm going to get ready and primer these. And I went out over my toolbox and found some little wire nuts that fit right on that, where the gun barrel goes in there. So I keep paint from getting in there. So that worked out pretty good. Alright, so I'm going to sit in my chair this time and do them other two. And after we get done with that, and they said this stuff's drying pretty fast out here in this garage, I'm going to start painting them bridges. I'm going to see how it is on them other two. I might paint them downstairs, as it is hot out here. Alright, get back to primering. Alright, everything's primer. I think what I'm going to do here is I'll go ahead and paint these two bridges out here. It's getting to the point where the sun's starting to come around and come in the garage now, and I can't see what I'm doing. It's just, you would think it'd be so bright it would help you out, but you can't see it. I gotta walk outside, look at it real good, then come back in and touch up some more. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to do these two downstairs. I'll take them down, paint them downstairs, and so that'll probably be tomorrow. But I'm going to go ahead and get these painted, see where I'm at, and then take them downstairs, and then if I have to touch up a little bit, I can do that downstairs. One thing I didn't show you is I always talk about how I wipe everything down with alcohol. You can't do that. There's just too many small parts. You'd be breaking something off. So what I done was I took a makeup brush, real fine bristle makeup brush, went over everything before I got started. It was still bare plastic. I wiped everything down real good, blew it off real good, and then I started priming. I didn't want no dust on there. Alright, so I'm going to start mixing up some paint. I've done been through about 4 glasses of water. It is hotter than hell out here.
then another 4 cups of primer over here. I went through one of these little jars. And these little jars of primer I had filled up. I done went through one of them and started on the second one. So I brought 2 bottles of paint up with me. So I'll shake them up real good. I'm going to get these painted. Now there's no need in me showing you painting these things, because they take a good 45 minutes each to try and get it done. So I'm not going to burn up all that camera time. You've seen me painting some other parts before. But what I got to do is I got to grab this thing. What I've been doing is coming at it from this angle first, then turning it and going at this angle, and then coming and get from the top down, turning it over, getting this angle, and then coming along and shooting it. Okay? So like I said, it's, you know, and you got to get down inside some little spots. Down inside here where these rams are, hydraulic rams, you got to try and get down in there. So it's kind of tough. Like I said, it's a good 45 minutes or better for each one of these. So we'll see how the painting goes. Like I said, I'll get them pretty well covered, do my best, and then take them downstairs. And if I have to, I'll touch them up. Because like I said, I can't hardly see out here because the sun's so bright. All right, so let me get the painting. All right, well there it is. Back downstairs. I went ahead and bit the bullet and did these out in the garage. The paint was going on much easier than that primer. Like I said, it took me 4.5 cups of primer to do them large bridges. Only took me about 2.5 cups of paint. But both the bridges are done. Both the carriers are done. Now I'm going to let it sit and dry. Come back down here tomorrow and take a good look at it. See if I need to touch up anything. Still got to do this. I gave up out there, man. It was getting too hot. I still got to touch up this and around them 2 things there. But and then I got to touch this up, because the only place I had to hold it was right here. So I got to touch up this end and down in here. And those will be done. Much easier painting all that stuff on there, like I said, than coming along in step 40 and then putting it on and trying to paint it. But I'll tell you what, that kicked my butt out there in that heat. And I cut the grass this morning. And then went out there and did this. This was worse than cutting the grass. Just a big whiner. But yeah, it was getting hot. Things were drying good though. Alright, I think that's it for this little clip. We'll be back tomorrow to see what we got. Might start assembling some of this week. Okay, well here we are, another day. I went back out to the garage today and dull coated everything that you see there with this Tester's dull coat spray lacquer. Okay, it says clear coat, but you can see from the cap, and it says right there dull coat. So I put a couple coats of that on everything that you see here. My 2 large bridges, the barrels, all the rail cars, and the 2 boxes. So everything's got a dull coat on it. Now I had to come down, and like I said, I had to do some touch up on them parts right there. Okay, so I got this all touched up where I was holding on to it and painted.
Did some touch-up work on this. I got my breech on there finally. The breech is on. That's been a little extra paint on this part right here. Excuse me. And I got them little pieces on right up here. You have to really be careful about picking these up. But these little pieces on the end right here. Get my finger in here. Where is it at? Turn it around. It's upside down. But I got them little pieces on too. So these three parts have to go out and get dull coated. And then it's just a matter of start putting this stuff together. I think I might go ahead and glue, where's it at? Let me get my finger here. Right here, these two right here, the boxes. I might go ahead right now and get them inside them two large bridges. Just get them on one of them. Glue it up and get it on one of them. So that'll be setting up overnight. And then I can get all these little things here in there tomorrow. And that'll put them bridges together. And then I can see how the breech is going to fit and all that, or the gun and them two gun carriers right there. I'll see how, once I get them two large bridges together, to see what kind of fit I got, see how things line up. One thing I didn't do, and you know, I probably should have, I'm going to have to check this out. You know, I got them weights in there. Let me turn this thing around. I was standing behind the camera. I got all them weights in there. This is pretty heavy. I don't know how this thing's going to balance out with them barrels on there. If worse comes to worse, the last barrel, if I got a problem with it balancing, I might have to put something in there. Maybe drop a bolt down in there or something to counterbalance it. I'm going to have to get it together and see how she sets. If it wants to stay to the up position, I'm going to have to counterbalance it somehow. I should have checked that out before I put all them weights in there, but it shouldn't be no big deal if I have to do something like that. Drop something down inside that large barrel, epoxy it in there. But we'll find out when that time comes. So yeah, and I was outside again today. I was out there for about an hour today. I went through about 1.5 cans. I bought, when did I buy? 4 of them. They had 4 at the store, and I bought all 4 of them. And I went through 1.5 already. And I should probably go through the other half a can here on these 3 parts. So, alright, so that's where we're at. She's coming along. And like I said, these 2 parts here will go like that. And this piece here, it will fit in between them two. Something like that. That's what them parts were that got added on that support this platform that goes on there. So now I got to touch that up. I got a piece of double-sided tape on there. So I'm going to have to peel that off and touch that up. There's just no way to handle some of this stuff where you don't have to come back later and touch up. Alright. I think I'm going to be stuck in this basement for the next few days. I think we got a party to go to Sunday. My son got a job promotion and he's moving to Florida. Wife's all upset about that.
But we got a party to go to, a going away party for him. He's leaving at the end of the month, and it's supposed to be 100 degrees out, and we're going to be on an outdoor party. I don't think we're going to be outside too long, but the rest of the week here, it's I think today's Monday. I think around Wednesday it's going to start being up in the 90s and humid again. So my wife done told me no more cutting the grass for a week or so. I don't care. She tells me not to cut the grass, I won't cut the grass. So I'll probably be down here for the next few days. You can see this here. I taped it off, and this is going to get painted silver down here on the bottom, and on this one here a little bit of silver on that. So I'll probably do that tomorrow. I'm letting all this dog coat set up overnight before I touch anything. But yeah, I came down here and I went over these real good, and I didn't see any place where I needed to do any touch-up. They came out real nice. They're looking good, at least to me. And this would be the inside. If you remember back a few videos, how I had that big old seam that I filled in all the way down along here. Well, it's completely invisible now. It went all the way down along the top, along the bottom here, on both sides. And I filled that in on both of them. So it came out looking good. My barrels and my breech and all that are looking real good where the seam line was. I don't see anything there. And the thing about the dull coat is it did kind of darken it up just a shade, you know. And I talked about this color, how I wasn't sure whether I was going to like this color or not, but like I said, it's growing on me. I'm pleased with it. Had a lot of, you know, you can still kind of see the green in it coming out, even though it is called German Field Gray. But you know, you can still see the tinge of green in it. But I like it. I think it's pretty nice. I've had a lot of guys ask me, you know, am I gonna, you know, like do some shadowing and stuff with it and things? No, I don't think so. I might go in here and there with maybe some you know, the black to highlight maybe some of the bolts and nuts and stuff, but I'm not going to go too crazy with it because, you know, it was a fairly new gun. I mean, it might have been around a couple years, but it was only used once. You know, sure, it was outside in the weather and stuff, but you know them Germans, they took care of their equipment. So I'm not going to go too crazy with any kind of weathering or anything. Definitely not going to put no rust marks on it or any of that kind of stuff, because I think she looks good just the way she is. If you want to imagine anything, it just came out of the factory. It hasn't even been sent to where it's going yet. So that's the way I look at it. Just rolled out of the factory. Alright, and I do want to mess around with these a little bit, where this wood is on these cars. I'm going to mess around with that and bring out a little bit of the wood color. Granted, I bet you when they painted this stuff, they turned them guys with that air gun, they just turned them loose and they painted everything that color, wood and all. So, but I will give it a little bit of a different shade. Alright, because I've seen them do that on them. Like I said, I was a truck driver and I've been to a lot of big, Cincinnati is well known for their old machine tooling factories, R.K. LeBlanc, Cincinnati Millicron, Gilbert Machine, you name it. Cincinnati built some of the biggest and best Carlton machine, all of them. And when they put up, got a piece of equipment, sent it down to the spray booth. They just painted everything. Didn't matter what it was, hoses, seals, wood. They just sprayed it all one color. Alright, so that's where we're at. Like I said, I'll be down here tomorrow. I'll probably start assembling some of this stuff. And I got to get them back outside. I might take them out tonight yet and put my dog coat on them so they'll have overnight to set up. Alright, that's it for this section. Alright, so here we are, up to date. I got these boxes here glued to this half of the big bridge. Both of those are glued on. But I'm at a standstill right now because I want to do a little highlighting with some wash on some of these tubing and nuts and bolts and things like that. I want to get in there with a little black wash and highlight some of them. I've had a couple guys asking me, well, why don't I you know, take the airbrush and highlight things in here and all that. Well, with the way I painted some of this stuff, it's almost impossible now to get in there and do any type of highlighting. Okay, now I can get in there with a little brush and bring out some of the detail, but yeah, I'm at a I really didn't want to do that. You know, a couple guys said, well, this, you know, it'd been out in the weather and his son probably was bleaching it out and things like this and that. Well, you know, there's also a time when the thing is brand new, you know, especially when they had pictures of Hitler going to check it out. So yeah, I'll do a little bit of wash on it, and I still plan on doing a little bit of weathering down on the cars here, down by the wheels. You know, do a little dusting there of like dirt, and down on the bottom here, along the bottom. But that'll come in a little bit. But anyway, let me get to where I'm at. I was sitting down here the other day, and I had this thing all together, and man, it is something else. Now I still got to paint my barrels yet. I still got to get these painted silver. Okay, this one and this larger one. This gets a little bit of silver right there. So I still got to do those yet. But let me show you this thing put together. And these boxes here, there's this railing in here. Let me tell you something. This is how precision of a fit that some of these parts are. That is within a millimeter of touching that box, and within a millimeter or less of touching that box. It just fits right in there. Okay, so let me put these two halves together. I still got to get these other little parts in there yet. I haven't done them yet. These little things here that go in here. Okay, I still got to get them on yet. But I was just test fitting some of this stuff. See how well my barrel fit, and see if it was balanced. Remember I talk about having to balance that barrel? So now this is kind of tough to do here, because I really don't have nowhere to push. I got to get this lined up just right for that to fit in it. Let me try it this way. Snap these two together. And this is a tight fit. There, that one's in. Let me see if I can get this one in. There we go. Now those two halves are together. Okay, are we in view? Let's see.
let me get one of these. This is the front. There, that one's on there. I can see I got a little bit of touch up to do where this is showing through a little bit here, but I'll just touch that up with a brush. That's no big deal. And let me get the other one over here. Now I have to slip the barrel in here excuse me, while I'm doing this. And I got to be careful because I got this breech on here and it is heavy. So this thing's going to tilt down and it's going to hit them damn railings down in the bottom there. So let me see if I can do this without damaging anything. Come on, baby. Slide on there. There you go. Get on there. There. That's together. Now I'm going to hold on to this because if I let this go, it's going to fall down in there. I got some dust on this. I know I'm going to run out of view here on the camera. Okay, and there it is. Now that's pretty well balanced on that barrel with all that weight back there. It's real close to being almost to the point where it's too heavy. But now believe this or not, I've got to glue these parts together, which will add a little bit of weight, plus the paint that I got to do on here yet, and the clear coat. So that might put just enough weight on there to balance this out. See, it'll almost move on its own, but it'll hold where you put it. All right. So let me get the camera off the tripod and show you what this looks like. And then this little thing here goes across. If I can get it up in there now. See that? I just bumped it and it started going back. That little thing goes on something like that. Alright, let me get the camera off the tripod and bring it down here and show you where we're at. Okay, we're going handheld here. There's that barrel sticking way out there. Alright. And there she is. Let me bring that barrel back down. There we go. Now I've also got to get my my decal up here, and I'm really contemplating, do I put it on straight like I've seen in some of them videos, or do I put it on there at an angle? I think I'm going to go with the angle. The angle, the dangle. There she is. And like I said, that color's kind of growing on me. It looks a little lighter than what I'm seeing. It's pretty dark. I know what I'm looking at in the lens here, it looks more green than it really is. She's coming together real good. I was worried about, you know, the fit. Once these two bridges went together, would this all be spaced properly for the barrel to fit in there properly? And it all does. It all comes together real good. So I think she's looking mighty fine so far. Now, like I said, I did this in stages. You know, if you remember way back, I said this was like 5 separate models I was building. Well, I've got 4 done. The last section is all this that goes in the back. All the platform, the little
oh, what do you want to call it, bunker room or whatever. There's a little shed that goes on there and all that. So I got to get my barrels painted, get my decals on, and get this stuff together up here in the front and the back where they go together. But like I said, I want to get my little bit of wash on there on some of that stuff to highlight some of them nuts and bolts and things. So that's where I'm at. And I still got to touch up a little bit on this thing right here. Right there. I got to paint a little bit more on that. It doesn't go in as far as I thought it would. But I'll tell you what, she's a monster. Look at that. Still going, still going. And you can see I got all these parts over here all finished up. I just got to do a little bit of, you know, weathering on the bottoms of the things, like I said. And I got to work on these cars right here, this wood. Got to do something with that. All right. So there we are. That's what I've been up to. So I think the first thing I'm going to do is get that silver on there, and then I'll get my decals on. All right, we'll be back. All right, I think I'm going to call it quits for the evening. But I did go ahead and get my silver on this barrel and this barrel. And I let it dry for about a half hour, and I put my clear coat on it again. So those are done. All the barrels are done. Now it's just a matter of start gluing them together. Like I said, I'm going to do it one section at a time. I'll take the breech here, and then this will be the first barrel that goes in. And I'll get that glued in there nice and straight, let it set overnight, come back and do the next barrel, and so on and so forth. Now the silver. This is that stuff I bought. Where did I get this from? Scale Hobbyist? Yeah. Bought this stuff from Scale Hobbyist. And I didn't know which one to get. And if you look, once again, we talk about these color pictures they give you. I bought chrome for plastic, and I bought a bottle of steel. All right. Here's the steel, and here's the chrome for plastic, or just chrome. If you look at this, you know, this one's all nice and shiny, the chrome, and this one looks a little duller, okay? And that's the steel. So I took a test sample of a piece of styrene I had, and I primered it. I primered it black, this square up here. Now there's some splatters on here. Don't worry about that because it didn't come out that way on the barrel. And I took this section over here and shot this steel. Once I shook it up, I thought, boy, that looks black. Okay, sure don't look like that picture of kind of a dull, shiny stuff. And I shook up the bottle, and man, well, you can see it settling again. It's settling down here. You can see the silver. But even after I shook it up real good, okay, and it settled that fast. It's within 2 hours it settled down again. But it's black. And this is what it came out like, almost black. You can't hardly even see it. See the difference in the shade. And they tell you more or less, this stuff comes out better if you spray it over black. So then I did the chrome. And now the chrome, when you shake it all up, it's nice and a silver color, okay? And I sprayed that over my black primer, and I got that. So I went ahead with the silver, or the chrome, and that's what I got right there. Okay, and that is also, that's got about 2 or 3 coats of clear coat on it. So it came out pretty nice. I'm pleased with it. Would it have been any, would it have come out the same with just regular silver paint? I don't know, probably. But I heard a lot of good things about this stuff, but actually to come out chrome, like they're showing you here in the picture, super shiny like that, no, it don't. It comes out kind of dull. And then it's even duller when I put the dull coat on it. But it is what it is. So I'm going to let them set up overnight and dry real good. And then I took my barrel and I had to get down inside there with my little brush. I don't even know, did I clean that brush out? Yeah. I got down inside that barrel as far as I could get and painted it black. I'm not even in view. I've got the habit of being out of view so much. Got down inside there and painted that black inside that barrel. So that's where I'm at for tonight. I'm quitting. Come back down tomorrow and get my decal on and all that other stuff I want to do. Some of that wash. Alright, so we'll see what kind of time we're running on this video, and maybe we'll add a little bit more. See you later. Okay, I'm back. I know I said this is going to be the end of it, and this is going to be the end of it. This will be the end of this video for this week. But I was sitting here looking at these barrels, okay, with this silver. Now I didn't really want that real shiny silver like they show you, and for one reason, and that's because if this gun is out in the open and this silver is super shiny, well, if a plane flies overhead, it's going to be like, and the sun hits it, it'll be like a mirror reflecting back to that pilot, and now he knows where the gun's at. So you do want it kind of dull. I didn't want it super shiny. What I got, I like. It's a nice dull silver. Okay, now here's why I came back. Sitting here looking at these decals, and I'll tell you what, these decals are giving me a fit. Remember how many problems I had with them earlier? And if you go back a few videos, I was talking how they show, let me get the paper here. They show the decals going on these larger bridges right up here in the front. One right there, and then you turn the gun around and that's up in the front on the other side, okay? And if you remember, I was talking about these a while back, that there's only 2 decals go on there, but they gave me 4, okay? And all the research I'd done, there was only two sets of lettering on the larger bridges, and that's the ones they show on here up front, okay? So I thought, well, I don't know why they gave me the other 2, because they are definitely worded to go on the back, but they're not there, so they're not going on. So upon closer inspection of these 4 decals, and you really got to look at them good, you got to catch the light just right, and I got to have my bifocals on. Now the word VROM, V-R-O-M, I think it's spelled, means front, and I think the other word is hidden, means rear. Alright, here's 4 decals. One says front, the other 3 say rear. Now what the hell is going on with that? I'm supposed to put 2 decals on here up in the front, one on each side, but only one of them says front and the other 3 say rear. So how am I supposed to put a decal on the front on the other side that says rear? So I got to decide what I'm going to do with that. I don't know. I thought about, well, I could cut that word off, rear, cut it off of the decal and put it on the other side. but it won't be the same as the one on this side because this one's got the word front on it. So, I don't know. You know, first of all, they give you 4 decals and you only need 2, and then 3 of the 4 say rear, when they're both 2 of them are supposed to say front. Oh man, so now I gotta ponder what I'm gonna do on that. I don't, you know, such a nice model to screw it up with something like that on their decals. I don't get it. It's enough to make you sick. So now I'm gonna have to go to bed tonight thinking about that. I'll be up half the night thinking of what I'm gonna do with that. So, all right, so that's gonna be it for this week. Like I said, that's enough to piss you off. It really is. So, any suggestions? There's no way I can take a small little brush and hand paint that word on there. There's no way. So, unless, I don't know, I have to go through them decals. I don't know where they're at now. I gotta find them and see if I can find that word somewhere on something else and maybe cut it off. I don't know. I have to find them decals. I got them put away somewhere. All right, so that's where I'm at. Nope, they're not in there. I'll check that out. But yeah, it's just one more thing that really makes you mad. Doing such a nice job on putting it together, and I praise them so much for how things fit together, and then they pull a stupid stunt like that. All right, so that's it for this week. I'm gonna probably tomorrow start shooting part 19, and we'll see what we do with that decal. All right, thanks for watching. We'll see you next week.